Oh, you just started it, Lisa.
I've got at 6 o'clock, so I'm gonna go ahead and call Gilmer County Board of Education regular meeting to order. Tom? Here. Tammy?
Here.
Brian?
Here.
Jason? Joe, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to jump right in. You said there's no delegations. Let's just get into this agenda. And the minutes from December 7th, the work session on the 13th, and the regular meeting on the 13th.
I move to approve that. I move the minutes be approved.
I'll second that. So we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from December 7th and the 13th work sessions, as well as December 13th regular meeting. Any questions, comments, or corrections? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Treasury report.
You have in front of you this evening schedule of checks to be written. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary with those checks. If you have any questions or comments with the schedule of checks to be written as they're presented.
Motion to approve the checks as presented by the.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Reports, discussions, follow-up. Shelley, is this you?
Yep.
Thank God.
First, I want to thank the parents for bringing your students. That is a wonderful honor. We want to recognize them for and attending. Next, I want to thank Mrs. Jones and Mrs. White for helping pick the top 10 math field day winners and then the 4 alternates. These students will be able to participate in the regional math field day competition, which is March 26, 2022 in Morgantown. And more information will come out about that. I know that several of the students are not here, but I would like to at least recognize them. And then after everyone gets their certificate, I would like to take a picture for the paper of the students. First place, Scott Price. Second place, Mackenzie White. Third place, Vanessa Bill. Fourth place, Elijah Facemeyer. Fifth place, Malaysia Morgan. Sixth place, James Moore. Seventh, Ian Hamrick. Eighth, David Brannon. Ninth, Bailey Frazier. 10th, Ashlyn Bourne. And then alternates, Jacob Chapman, Madison Jarvis, Emma Taylor, and Morgan Putnam. And
I want to say something real quick.
okay.
It's amazing to put the effort into your studies as well as athleticism and whatever else you've got going on. But the names that keep reappearing, you ought to be proud. I mean, we see maybe not the faces all the time, but your names are read a lot here. And, you know, kudos to you and your parents for the effort, because being here tonight's nice, but doing what you do in the classroom is where it makes a difference. And it'll be nice to read this in the paper next week.
Yes, and she always puts it in. Very appreciated.
We try to get it on the front page.
But if the students can go out in the hallway, I'll take your pictures, please.
Thank you, Shelby. Mr. Frazier?
Yes, wanted to give the board a quick update on the high school steps. We anticipated getting started today. Equipment moved in last week, 3 big pieces of equipment. So unfortunately, the weather forecast has gotten away this week with the forecast of rain. I did talk to the company today, and we are pushing that start date to Monday, January 3rd. So we're just a week back, but they should be back on the steps. Again, I'll remind the board when they're back on those steps, with good weather, they're anticipating 2 to 3 weeks with good weather, and we should have that project wrapped up. So that's on the high school steps. We also will be meeting real soon, early in January, with Williams and Shriver on the secure entry, the safe schools entry. We wanted to do that in a face-to-face meeting. We've asked for all 3 partners to come with Williams and Shriver. I don't know if we'll get all 3 of them, but we have asked and requested that all 3 partners attend this meeting. On our side, we'll have the superintendent, Clay, myself, and Principal Putnam on our side in that meeting. And just again, want to make sure we cover all our bases, make sure we're on the same page, and look forward to getting that project started soon. So that's just a quick update on facilities where we're moving there. We are hoping to receive some news soon. Don't want to get too deep into it on the meat shop. And I think that'd be another big plus. And I think that's coming, soon, hopefully. And we'll get that update at the appropriate time on that. As far as athletics are going right now, we do have a girls basketball team that's still on a roll. We're 7-0. Haven't seen the most recent polls. They ought to be coming out any time. I do anticipate Gilmer being atop those polls, being 1 or 2. And then I want to let the board know, I sent it in the email, but we're going to host, it's not our first, because I'm sure we hosted them way back when, but actually this Thursday, the 30th, we're going to host a wrestling match. And I think that's neat. We're going to host a varsity wrestling match. Glenville State's been kind enough. We'll go out to the Waco Center. We'll borrow their mat. We'll bring their mat over to our gym. But Coach Hall and working with him on this, we could have easily had it at Glenville State. I think Glenville would have let us, but we really wanted to host it in our gym. So it's going to be a little bit harder to host in our gym because we're going to go get the mat, have to take the mat back and all that, but I think it's going to be well worth it. And we are excited to host a wrestling match in our gym. And that's this Thursday. We should start wrestling around 6 o'clock. They'll weigh in at 5, and we should actually see wrestling at 6 o'clock. So excited about that. More than happy to answer anything the board would have.
Just say kudos for getting that wrestling going.
Absolutely.
I've been needing that for a long time, and I think you've done a good job getting that thing together.
Thank you. We were fortunate, and I think we've got some very quality people in charge of those programs. And I think it's only going to keep building.
Yeah,
I think it just keeps getting better and better.
having a meet here is important because you got kids from other
Yeah.
counties, you gotta come here and do that, and I think that's great.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe, Tammy, or Brian?
No, sir.
Thanks.
I don't have any.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Tom, would you like to catch us up on the Career Center?
Yeah, there's a couple of things about the Career Center. I got the enrollment at the Career Center, and I would like to say that I would like for the principals and the administrators at the high school or the teachers to think about the students they have. If they have a student that's having problems, try to find out through your counselor or whoever. If there's an area they're interested in, just remember the Career Center there is a good alternative to the education they're getting here. Sometimes if you get them on the right track, their behavior problems go away. But that give you an idea of, they have different programs there. The ALC, for example, that we have of the morning, Calhoun has 11 kids in it, Gilmer has 1. In the afternoon, Calhoun has 11 in it, Gilmer has 12. In the health field, which is really down, as it is all over the country, people just not going into health now. 3 in Calhoun in the morning and 2 in the evening, 2 from Calhoun in the afternoon and 1 in the evening. Digital technology, 2 from Calhoun, 9 from Gilmer in the morning, and 6 from Calhoun and 1 from Gilmer in the evening. And that surprises me a little bit. Criminal justice, we have 3 from Calhoun and 1 from Gilmer. Are you guys familiar with these how many funds?
Well, I see it occasionally, but it's kind of alarming that you're talking about the healthcare and the criminal justice, which right in this area, jobs immediately.
It really dropped off.
Look at that.
Five in the afternoon, 2. Automotives, 8, and from Calhoun, 5 from Gilmer, 13 from Calhoun, and 1 from Gilmer. Net technology is 2 from Calhoun, 4 from Gilmer in the morning, and 1 from Calhoun, and 2 from Gilmer in the afternoon. Carpentry, 4 from Gilmer, 4 from Calhoun in the morning, 8 from Calhoun, and 3 from Gilmer in the evening. And welding, 7 from Calhoun. This is the biggest class they have there, is the welding class. They have 7 in the morning from Calhoun and 7 from Gilmer. In the evening, they have 15 from Calhoun and 5 from Gilmer. And in the evening ALC, there's 4 from Calhoun. And there's a total of 188 students that attend. So that's the stat part of the career center. But there's a lot of good things going on down there. If you have a chance to make time to go in there and see what the students are doing. I thought about maybe having someone come up here someday and do a
It's a
presentation.
great idea.
At the board.
Pre-COVID, we were down there a lot and everything. But since COVID, I haven't been down there for a thing. And they did a good job of putting no matter what they did, whether it was giving out scholarships or pennant or whatever, it was always done right.
Well, a good example, I think, that one of the areas they got, because they call it Pro Start, but this is basically food service. They not only teach kids about preparing food and things like that, they also teach them how to manage a restaurant. You know, you get basic skills in restaurant management and things like that. And you know, today, if you want a job in food service, you get it anywhere you live.
Basically, everything you mentioned there, you could go to work immediately
That's
after
right.
leaving that field, or leaving that career center.
And like I said, a lot of kids get discouraged with academics in high school. If you get them on the track, that'll help them both in what they're doing and their academic stuff. So that's a great resource for both Calhoun and Gilmer.
Are there any questions for Tom?
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for providing that update. And if I were to have those numbers, I think it's beneficial. Because I really think the word is out. And I'm not saying we do a good or a bad job in our system. I'm not blame, or I'm not blah, blah, blah. But if parents and grandparents are raising these kids, know more about what's going on down there, I think there could be more interest. Maybe they do know. Maybe everybody knows everything they need to know.
I think that's a big part of it. So you educate people knowing about what's going on.
So we've been new business.
Do you want to take both policies?
Yeah, I think they both.
Okay, for approval, policy 3180, McKinney-Vento homeless assistant policy, and for approval, policy 3181, children and youth in foster care.
Well, I move we approve those 2 policies.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve policy 3180 and 3181. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
USD contract.
Me again. I had sent, just to kind of start off and catch everybody up to date, I had sent last week, after board approval for the financing portion, to move forward with obtaining financing from Calhoun banks. I was on a conference call with Calhoun banks, and what we originally thought was going to be the terms and conditions of that loan are no longer the terms and conditions of that loan. We are able to set the term years, the payment, whether we wanted it monthly, annually. However, there was some confusion. I will take full blame for that. But those were the words that were spoken, that we would get to set the rate, but I guess that wasn't the real intent and wasn't actually how it was gonna play out. I will assume full responsibility for that. I should have asked more questions. I should have had something in writing from them when the board moved to approve that loan from Calhoun Banks. Where we're at right now, I'm still talking with Calhoun Banks. I'm talking with United Bank. I'm talking with ESG, who has multiple national banks as their partners, and providing these performance contracts. We are looking at an interest rate somewhere between 2.5% and 2.75%. Where we're going to fall on that, I'm hoping it's way less than that. And that's where we're at right now. Are there any questions? My recommendation, even with that setback, is that we keep moving forward through this contract process. There's still multiple things that have to happen, which gives us time to figure out the financing part of this money. I'm not asking for that we finance any more money. I'm not asking that we change anything. Just know that there will be interest involved, whereas I was led to believe that there wouldn't be before. Are there questions with that? I will take any questions that you have.
I'll open it up. I'm not going to say I have a question, more of a comment probably. I said, as I listened when we went through this process, and I knew we were using our own money, and I've used my own money at times, and never did I get to use my own money for nothing.
Right.
Now I don't have $2 million in a CD, so I don't have that kind of leverage.
Right.
So you didn't catch me off guard by your email.
Right.
I know communication things happen. I know. So, you know, I think it's something, hopefully Calhoun Banks, you know, if they value our relationship, and I hope they will, we'll sit down and we'll come to a happy medium. Because, you know, if we use our $2 million or our $1.5 million for 15 years, I hate the thought of paying Calhoun $200,000 or $300,000 to do that over the term of that loan. But there is a cost to using money, whether, you know, when somebody's handling and so I'm not saying you made a mistake. I'm not saying Calhoun made a mistake. I'm saying there might be a communication gap that was missed. And in this case, you know, it is going to come with a price tag.
As far as I'm concerned too, talking about, I think you need to look at it as you're going. I don't think you need to think local. I think local is local. That means every bank in the United States is local today. All you need is a cell phone. There's no such thing as a local bank or a local business. You get the place that gives you the best rate, and that's what I want you to do. But I think you should move forward with this. I don't think you should not. But that's what I would like to see you do. And I'm sure you probably are working on it.
Yes. I have been since I found that was complete shock and news to me. And the first person that I contacted was Patty, because I was blown away.
And the ESG, you said they would work with you.
They are working. I've already been in contact with Audra, and she called her boss's boss to start the wheels rolling with them, hopefully with some of their national connections, that we will be able to get a better rate. But it is my recommendation at this time, even though that is a setback, and we're going to have to pay to borrow money. Almost any time you borrow money, you pay to borrow money.
Yeah, you're going to have to, I agree with that, that it costs money to do that. But getting back to the local issue again, I think that You know, if you've got money in the CD in one of the banks here, you can automatically change it over to an online banking and make lots more interest off your money. So I think you look for the best rate you can find, and that's what I'm doing.
Yes. Yes.
There's probably something else you might want to share too, though.
So,
There's the contract. You want to, Audra, do you want to share that a little bit? Or?
I just want to say something. We have a director of finance that works on behalf of ESG. They would solicit for proposals for the best cost of money on your behalf. We don't make money on that, so it wouldn't cost you anything. I just want to say that. So they would then bring in those other banks that are interested in doing the financing along with your local bank and get that lowest cost of money for you. And I don't know what you were leading to with the contract, but I think you want to move on what you
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We need to submit that contract for legal review and keep that process going. I think you had mentioned, I think it was even the financing part. We have the amount because the board approved that, but the rest of it was written up in that contract right now.
I'll make a motion to approve the ESG contract and move forward.
There's two contracts.
Contracts.
There's the performance contract and the ESSER contract.
Yeah, it's on your contract.
Yeah.
No,
So we have a motion and a second to move forward with the contracts with ESG as presented. Questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
We have no old or unfinished business. And then personnel, the will and pleasure, we do it all at once.
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue with that. I don't think any conflicts.
Okay, for professional, Ava McHenry, for middle school math teacher at Gilmer County High School. Service, Heidi Lindsay, classroom/transportation aide here for ALC. Extracurricular will be Johnny Eisenhart, bus operator for extra duty ALC. And then Rebecca Chesser, after school Saturday detention, Gilmer County Elementary School.
So moved. We have a motion and a second to approve the personnel list as submitted. Any questions, comments, suggestion, correction? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I will tell you, under superintendent's information, I did send out a climate survey, which I said I was gonna do at the beginning of school. So when we get the results tallied, then I will make sure that you get a copy of
When's
what
that
was
close?
sent. It's closed on the 23rd.
Huh?
It closed on the 23rd. It's very enlightening,
Well, that's what we do it for. Right?
yes. And it's been slow here the last 2 weeks, of course, everybody's out Christmas. It's been wonderful though, our kids are enjoying it. I think the last couple of days they had a good time. At the high school, they had a hot cocoa bar, and those kids went crazy for that. They just loved that. So there was a lot of positive on the last week of before Christmas break.
Any comments from the board?
None
I
here,
don't
Doug.
have any.
Thank you all. Have a happy and safe new year.
You too.
To adjourn. Thank you all.
Patty, what was the survey about?
It's a climate survey.
Climate.
Yeah, that in my beginning letter to the employees.